Hey folks, Tony here. Spent some time yesterday actually trying to figure out how high I could actually go with my bed before I'm to the point of crouching over and sitting down. I want to be able to try and sit up as straight as possible. My battery went dead yesterday as I was filming, making my little three-legged stool. Made the stool at 18 inches and discovered that it was just it wasn't extremely high. I would have a slight bend, but I'm going to stick with my original my original plans in terms of building it 12 inches high and then allowing for 4 inches for the actual mattress that's going on there. So we're looking at 15 to 16 inches high in terms of the bed build, which is going to give me enough space to sit up as straight as possible. And again, that's all dependent upon how I end up doing my ceiling, which is probably going to be the very last thing that I do in the van build. And if I've got a little bit to kind of crouch over, that's fine too. I've got another solution in terms of what I'm thinking of, another place I can sit within the van if I need to sit up straight. And I'll be explaining that a little bit later in terms of my build of the bed here today. I'm just going to be working on my framing and trying to figure out, I've cut a number of pieces yesterday for my framing with the furring strips that I have here, 2x1 inch furring strips. This is just a little test piece I was using for drilling. So with that, I discovered that my ends aren't like perfect. They're as great as I can get them, but some have a slight little slant to them based upon where I went in with the jigsaw, and I also try circular saw. So what I'm thinking is with my my new track saw guide that I built here, you can see it, with my new track saw guide that I built, I'm going to try and do some plunge cuts just to kind of test around and see how I can get a straighter cut. I would love to have a miter saw, but it's not in the budget right now. So I'm just going to try and work with what I have. All right, just want to share what I came up with. Don't necessarily have to do a plunge cut. What I found is that marking my line, so in this case I'm doing a 6-foot cut, so marking my line and then running it through underneath my track saw guide. And then what I do is I line up the line, and because it's the light's not the greatest in here, make sure I got the line lined up perfectly here. So once I have that line lined up there, then what I'm doing is I'm clamping it down so it doesn't jump. Because I tried test fitting before, testing this cut on a scrap piece, and I was just holding my hand, and when I went to cut, it jumped. So this actually holds it in place nicely. It's a little longer process than maybe having a miter saw, just bzz, 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 but it's what I got. I learned how to be resourceful even as a kid, so still using those skills. And then I start my saw, do my thing. Cut and loosen. So take it out. I get here and take my measurement. Six foot even, and a nice, smooth, straight cut. So I found my solution here. I'm happy. Onward we go. Okay, and I thought about this, but I forgot. This is such a novice mistake here. These furring strips are not actually 1 inch. They're less than 1 inch. So what happens is, instead of my 12-inch measurement that I was thinking I was doing, I'm actually getting 11 3/4 and not a full foot. I'm not going to recut everything. It's definitely going to be nice to have an additional 1/4 inch of clearance for my head. So I'm not mad. I'm just just only thing I'm mad at is the fact that I didn't actually measure the boards or remember the fact that these aren't actually 1 inch in thickness. So yeah, lesson learned. But again, it works out because I'm saving a 1/4 inch overall in terms of headspace. Ah. All right, the reason I ripped this little piece is you can see the little gap when I position it to mount it on the wall. If you look, you can see a little gap. It's very minute, but it bugs me. So I'm just going to glue this here and then tack it in with some nails as opposed to trying to screw it, because I believe I'll split it if I try to screw it. So glue it, nail it, and then some wood filler, and then once you paint it, you won't even know that it's actually a piece here like this. I just underestimated my cut, and when I put it in there, I could see a little gap in there. So this will take care of that. All right, doing my testing, and another novice move that I just realized I had done is I actually didn't account for the slats in terms of height, which is not going to make much of a difference. As I stated, I'm a little short on this because the wood wasn't actually 1 inch. So with the slats, it's like 3/4 of an inch. So we're looking at probably 1/2 inch added to. So that's not a big deal. 1/2 inch is not a problem at all for me. Again, I'm learning as I go. Things that I need to account for sometimes happen as I'm building it out. So this day has been super productive. Again, my apologies. I haven't had the space on the camera memory card here to record everything, and I'm kind of sad because I had some good discoveries in the process. So